Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about a little bit of price action that we saw come out of Bitcoin here in the last 24 hours or so. As you can see, if we come in here to the hourly chart, Bitcoin has made a very obvious breakout right here, and this is actually quite significant from a technical standpoint, not only because we've broken a downtrend of resistance, but because we've defended an important uptrend of support, and also because it seems that we may be putting a new trend in motion that potentially has the potential, I should say, to build into a new Bitcoin rally moving into the next couple of days and on into the next couple of weeks, hopefully. I'm going to be laying this out in today's video because what we've seen here is something that we haven't seen in a couple of months. It's the setup for a new rally, and like I said, with Bitcoin trading sideways for the last several months, we really haven't seen anything like this in the last couple of months, not because it's a 1% move, but because of the things that it's done on the technicals that we're going to be discussing in today's video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. If you go back on the channel and you can click the link in the top right, if you're not watching during the premiere, to click the video that we did yesterday, you can see in yesterday's video, in the thumbnail, you can actually see that Bitcoin was testing this downtrend of resistance, and I put that in the thumbnail, and before the video even managed to go live, this happened, and Bitcoin broke it before the video even went up, which was very funny timing. I've had that happen a couple of times before. When you upload every single day, you're bound to have something like that happen, but I did think that was kind of humorous, and I did talk about in yesterday's video why I thought there was some kind of breakout coming here, partially because we saw Bitcoin trading up here against the downtrend of resistance so much and staying away from this this uptrend of support, excuse me. If you come in here to the 4 hour, then we can see this triangle pattern much more clearly. As you can see, we've been trading very, very closely to the downtrend of resistance and kind of avoiding the uptrend of support, which is normally a pretty good way to determine which direction the market is going to break. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that Bitcoin hasn't moved a whole lot here. It moved up here to previous resistance and basically just undid the bearish price action that we saw over here in the end of October going into Halloween. So this isn't a major move from the amount that it's moved, I should say. It's not a very major move based on how much it moved, I should say, but it is a major move in my opinion because of the things it did on the technicals. Like I said, we'll be getting to that in a second, but I do want to go ahead and do the crypto market recap first and foremost because there's a couple of other things that I want to discuss here. Bitcoin across all exchanges is currently trading around $6,450, and I'm quite a fan of that price because that is quite a bit higher than where Bitcoin was trading just a little while ago, down here around 62.50. I like to see Bitcoin higher than it was previously, of course. And also I like to see that because it means that there is still a slight discrepancy between the price action on Bitfinex and Coinbase, which are the two major competing prices for Bitcoin. It's almost like there's two Bitcoins trading because they're trading at two different prices, even though it's basically just because of Tether and a lack of arbitrage. But I do like to see Bitcoin moving up from here. One thing I also want to point out is the daily volume. Bitcoin's daily volume is hovering around $4.5 billion. We haven't seen Bitcoin's daily volume do that well in not a long time, but we haven't seen it in a little while because we've seen Bitcoin's daily volume hover down here under $4.5 billion for quite some time, coming down here to $3 billion sometimes. I think I even saw a day where Bitcoin went down below $3 billion in daily volume, and that's not exactly healthy for the market. You want a very liquid market because it drives innovation in the market. It drives people moving into the space and companies moving into the space that can also innovate in the market, because when you have an illiquid market, one, it's very hard to trade on a market, and two, it's very easy to manipulate the market, which drives away retail and institutional investors. So I very much like to see Bitcoin's volume increasing, as well as its price action. You can see we're up around 1.5% over the last 24 hours. One thing I do want to point out is Ethereum. Ethereum is currently trading around $210, up about 5% over the last 24 hours. And I'm quite happy to see that because Ethereum was trading down here, trying to garner support down here around the $200 level on Ethereum over US dollars. And it does seem we've gotten a little bounce here over the last 24 hours or so. I'm very happy to see that the altcoins are doing well because a lot of times the altcoins, if they all move in unison, can have the same effect as Bitcoin moving because there's a lot of market cap down here. We see Ethereum has 20 billion, XRP has $18.5 billion worth of market cap. Bitcoin Cash is very, very close to $10 billion again in market capitalization. These altcoins, when they all move in the same direction, especially if that direction is bullish in a bear market when Bitcoin's already looking bullish, then that can have major implications for the market. And all three top altcoins are doing rather well over the last week. We can see Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin Cash are up quite nicely today considering how low the volatility has been in the cryptocurrency space here over the last couple of weeks. One thing I do also want to point out is Tether. Tether has gotten kind of close back to $1. I've seen this sitting around $1. In fact, it's been around exactly $1. In fact, I believe it was around $1.01 in one of our videos, but Tether is trading just a little bit below $1 right now. I'm going to keep looking at this because I want to see Tether stabilize because I don't really like the discrepancy between Coinbase's Bitcoin price action, and between Bitfinexes and many of the other exchanges that use US dollar tether, it's just really not that healthy for the market for there to be two competing charts. It kind of weakens technical analysis a little bit, even though right now these charts are moving in a very similar fashion and we see the breakout on both of them. I really don't like the fact that there's two different charts that we have to look at for Bitcoin right now, and that doesn't actually bode very well for the technical. So I'd like to see that change, and I think it will. I think Tether is going to stay stable. I don't think Tether is going to implode on itself. There's been some news come out with Tether lately. I'm not going to get into it in today's video, but it seems like Tether is stable for right now. With that said, you guys know my opinions. I'm not a biggest fan of Tether, and I don't personally really use Tether all that much. When I'm trading Bitcoin, sometimes I do because I have to trade Bitcoin over something, but very rarely do I actually use Tether because I trade actually mostly in high cap altcoins. Anyway, one thing I also want to do is sort by change over the last 24 hours and look at the altcoin market as we like to do here. Basic Attention Token is doing rather well. We saw Big BAT get listed on Coinbase a couple days ago. You can watch that video in the top right if you're interested in seeing what happened there. And Wax is the biggest gainer, up around 8.29%. But if we scroll down here, we're going to see that we see more green than red, probably about 60 green altcoins and about 40 red altcoins with one double-digit loser, that being Eternal Token. Going down, I'm trying to think of a pun. I can't think of a pun. It'll take me eternity. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Anyway, I think that's all we wanted to discuss here on CoinMarketCap. Oh, I'm so bad. Well, I wasn't trying to make a pun. I made a pun. Anyway, let's get back onto the technical analysis, guys. And like I said, this is a rather significant bullish breakout. And I am happy to see this, not only because it's a bullish move to the upside. I'll take what I can get right now when Bitcoin hasn't been moving at all for the last 2 months, but also it is a rather important technical move, as I'm about to show you. So let's go out here to the day chart. And if you watch yesterday's video, what you'll see is that I was talking about Heikin Ashi, and I'm a very big fan of Heikin Ashi. One, not only because it's very easy to discern the major market movements with Heikin Ashi, but also when you pair Heikin Ashi with MACD, it's very easy to see when a new rally is forming. And the way that you determine if a new rally is forming, or the way that you get a signal for a new rally to be forming, I should say, is when you see Heikin Ashi go green, and then you see MACD turn bullish a couple of days later as confirmation. And that's exactly what we've seen here. We saw Heikin Ashi go green about 4 or 5 days ago, and 2 or 3 days ago, we saw MACD on the daily chart go green as well. And I'm not going to go into all the different examples I've shown before of how powerful this is. Well, I take that back. I will show a few that I haven't shown before. Right over here, when Bitcoin pulled back down to $6,000 first, we turned green, and a couple days later, as you can see, Bitcoin's MACD had a bullish cross. Right over here, when we started going red a couple days later, we had a bearish cross on the MACD. That works in both directions, of course. A MACD cross correlating with the change in the color of Heikin Ashi can normally indicate either an uptrend or a downtrend, depending on which direction it is. And you can also see that right over here when we turned red, we saw MACD cross bearish right over here. It happens on just about every single rally, especially in the 2018 bear market for Bitcoin. And it's a very, very good indicator, especially when paired with other technical analysis, which I do have some other technical analysis to get to here in a second. But I'm very happy to see this, because we did see one fake out over here. You got to be honest with yourself and say that, yeah, we did see one fake out over here. We saw Bitcoin go green, and we saw the bullish MACD cross over here. But Bitcoin had already lost a lot of its exuberance right over here. Bitcoin was mostly kind of losing a lot of its volatility, and we traded basically completely sideways. But right now, it seems that we're actually picking up speed in the beginning of what potentially may evolve into a new rally. As you can see, the candlesticks over here are a little bit bigger after the MACD cross than they were right over here when Bitcoin started trading sideways. I have hopes for this rally. I don't want to get too hyped about it, because anything can happen, guys. This is very, very early. We haven't seen rallies in a long time. I don't want to just go and say, well, a new Bitcoin rally is forming, but I will say that there is potential for a new Bitcoin rally to be forming here based on the Heikin Ashi and based on another couple of technicals. One of the technicals I want to show you is something that I mentioned in a previous video, but I want to show you again because the trend is continuing, and that is the trend for Bitcoin shorts to fall straight to the floor and show us everything Bitcoin's got, and just come all the way down here, down close to where Bitcoin hasn't seen its shorts go in a very long time. We haven't seen Bitcoin shorts this low since the beginning of September, the end of August. And I'm quite happy to see that, because of course we know what shorting is, guys. It's basically you're just betting against the market. So depending on the market, you have to be careful with this generalization, but depending on the market, a lot of times if shorts are falling, that can sometimes indicate there's going to be some kind of bullish move coming from that. There is a contrarian side to that, so you have to keep that in mind. Sometimes when shorts are falling, that's a bad sign. I can't get into it today, but right now this looks very, very bullish that Bitcoin shorts are going down and that Bitcoin is moving up. A lot of this buy pressure is probably coming from these shorts being eradicated here on Bitfinex. That's probably one of the reasons why we're seeing Bitcoin do pretty well on Bitfinex as well, not just a corollary there. So I'm quite happy to see that Bitcoin shorts are going down, and I would like to see that trend continue. I don't know how much further it really can conceivably continue when the lowest we've seen Bitcoin shorts this year is around 18,000. So keep that in mind. We may just be trading down here for a little while. But this right here signals a lot of bullish optimism and a lot of weakness from the bears right now, and that's what I'm really concerned about. One of the last times we saw this was over here in the end of August. And the end of August wasn't exactly a great time, but well, actually, I take that back. It was at the end of August, and we saw a rally coincide with that. So I'm pretty happy to see shorts falling. One other thing that I want to discuss has to do with one of my favorite technical indicators and one of my favorite interval technical indicators in all of technical analysis. I like it so much that there's an entire video dedicated to it in the course. Like I said, guys, the price for the course is going to be raising in the next week or two. I'm going to be adding several more videos to that. So if you're interested in getting in before I do that, click the link in the description to see what we have to offer. But in the course, I have an entire video on the 20 interval exponential moving average, and you guys probably know by now how big of a fan I am of this moving average, because it actually does something very similar to Heikin Ashi, where it's pretty good at calling uptrends and downtrends, and it's pretty good at calling market reversals. And when you pair Heikin Ashi, MACD, and the 20 exponential moving average on the daily chart, you get a very, very, very powerful signal, because if you have all three of those things say you're going bullish, it's not very common that Bitcoin isn't going to actually go bullish, and we just got above the 20 exponential moving average when all of this sideways trading was from Bitcoin being below it. I'm very happy to see that. Bitcoin was trading around it over here, but we did also see a lot more volatility over here. I'm very happy to see that we're above this in what looks to be the beginning of a new rally. Like I said, guys, it's not really confirmed yet. This is basically confirmed with the way that I use to confirm rallies, but we don't have any confirmation for how large the rally is going to be just yet, I should say. But based on the Heikin Ashi, based on the MACD, based on the fact that the shorts are continuing to fall, and the fundamentals are looking very, very good right now, the altcoin market is looking very bullish right now. We see a lot of good news coming to Bitcoin, and that we got above the 20 daily exponential moving average. I'm quite happy about the market right now, guys. And I do think we're going to continue moving in the northerly direction coming here over the next couple of days anyway. I don't want to put any price targets on this yet. I don't want to say how long we're going to move up just yet, because this is very, very early. This isn't really even a full-fledged rally yet. It's just a little bit of bullish price action that could hopefully grow into something a little bit more significant. But I will go ahead and say I would like to see Bitcoin come up here to $6,800 and ideally break through it. I don't really want to see Bitcoin reestablish $6,800 as a level of resistance, but I could very easily see Bitcoin go up here and test this into the next a little bit of rally that we may be seeing coming here over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I'm not going to get into what I think is most likely as far as price targets are concerned, but that's where I would like to see Bitcoin go first. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys would like to see Bitcoin do. I know I'd like to see Bitcoin do just about anything right now than this sideways trading this little sideways trading number that we saw Bitcoin do for 2 or 3 weeks right here. That was probably one of the most boring couple of weeks of the entire year, I'll be totally honest. And I'm glad to see that we're seeing a little bit more volatility come back into the market. Of course, I did have time to do a lot more long-term TA that sometimes I don't have time to do when the market is actually a little bit more active. But anyway, guys, like I said, tell me in the comment section down below where you think Bitcoin is going to be going here over the next couple of weeks. I am very interested to hear your opinions in the comment section as always. And one thing I wanted to here coming to the end of the video, I wanted to go ahead and address a lot of the people in the comment section over the last several months who have said, Jeb, you speak too fast, you drink too much coffee, you need decaf, you need to stop drinking coffee. Well, you know what? Here's to the haters. Anyway, guys, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!